Hi there, I'm Michelle.
I'm Jim, and we are
Fatigue of Your Own. Welcome to another Motivational Monday.
Let's get motivated.
Woo! It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yes, it is. Nice fall weather.
Yes. The 80s came back last week.
Yes, but they're gone.
They're gone, which is nice. And now we're where we should be.
Yeah, feels like fall.
Which is nice. Had a little bit of rain, gonna have a little bit more rain, and that's okay.
Well, considering we're in a drought,
Yeah.
it's needed.
Kind of need it.
Yeah.
Cool thing. Your birthday went well?
Yeah, I mean, went like a birthday.
You're still around?
Yes. It's as I always say, getting older might not be all that much fun, but it beats the heck out of the alternative.
Yes. That went well, and election is over. No more commercials.
Yay!
Best part of elections ending is
the commercials go away.
Yes. So it doesn't matter. For many elections out there, I'm just like, at this point, I don't care who wins. I just want
it over with. Yeah. Especially when you start getting all the negative commercials. Like, ugh.
The commercials are over. A lot of people complaining about the texts that they were getting.
Yes. I got a bunch of them.
See, all of mine went to spam, which tells me I'm doing something right with my phone.
I guess.
Because if mine went to spam and yours didn't, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, but I just ignored them. So I knew what they were, so I just ignored them.
And then phone calls.
Yeah.
We didn't get as many phone calls.
We did not get that many phone calls
as we've gotten in the past. So still not bad. Today, another wonderful day, another holiday today. And actually, this is going on at the exact time that most people are having ceremonies about today. So today is Veterans Day. And the quote that we're focused on, I couldn't find who said this, so it's by unknown, that very famous unknown person. Today we remember not just the victory, but those who steered us to it. All right, that's what Veterans Day is all about.
Right.
It's about remembering people who have served in our armed forces. And Veterans Day actually comes out of Armistice Day, which was the end of World War I, which was today.
Right.
The 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month.
Right.
So November 11th, 11 o'clock a.m. That's now.
Right. Veterans Day, oddly enough, is always a week after my birthday.
Amazing how that happens every single year.
Weird.
Every single year.
Every single year.
Yeah. It is indeed Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans out there. You're a veteran.
I am.
Along with your sister.
My sister, my father.
Yep.
And one of my nephews.
Yep.
And had a great uncle who served.
Yep.
And then going even further back, had family members that served in various and sundry skirmishes over the years.
Yep. My dad was in the Navy. Both of my grandparents, both my grandfathers. My dad's father was in the Army. My mom's father was in the Navy. My dad's uncle, he was in the Army. He was a lot like your dad, where he served, retired from it, and then went in and worked as a civilian. Not far from here at Letterkenny.
Oh.
Like you said, a lot of military people in our lives. Jeffrey, he was in the Marines.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of veterans in our family, and truly grateful for what they have done over the years for serving our country, especially the ones that didn't have to. I mean, you were one of them. You didn't have to.
No, I didn't have to.
It wasn't like you were drafted.
Nope.
Nope. And even my dad volunteered to go into the Navy. He was not drafted.
No, my father wasn't drafted either.
And My grandfather was not drafted. He served during World War II. He was not drafted, and that's because he was the only son. And the age group that he fell in, he was kind of like on the edge there because he was older when World War II happened. So he was not going to get drafted. He volunteered to go.
Yeah.
And very interesting.
Well, I know Beth, my sister, one of my sisters, and we both signed up at about the same time. And yeah, we both volunteered to go. And so my father, he volunteered twice. And I don't know about my great uncle Lawrence. Knowing Lawrence, I would assume that he also signed up. And that would probably be a pretty safe bet with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my family's got a history of military service. Yeah, it's something we do.
Yeah. And then when you think about the reasons why, these days, and one of the reasons why you did, not the entire reason
No,
why
not
you
the
did,
entire
but
reason.
one of the reasons why you did was for education benefits.
Yes.
That wasn't the case way back when, but it is now.
Right.
And so you have a lot of people who will sign up to get the GI Bill to help pay for their higher education costs,
right,
which makes perfect sense.
Right. That's part of what I did it for. And then there was a signing bonus. And then it's also a regular income.
Yep.
Because I was in the National Guard, so we had our drills every month. But I was on active duty for Desert Storm.
Yep.
And yeah, so there were a lot of perks to it, plus chance to serve your country.
Yep. And when it comes to serving your country, there's a lot of different options out there. I mean, when you look at the armed forces, you've got, Army, Navy, Air Force, the Marines. You've also got the Coast Guards. My uncle, he was in the Coast Guard. Another uncle, actually Uncle Joey, he was in the Air Force.
Right, that's right.
And so you've got lots of options out there when it comes to serving. You got National Guard, because all of the services have a National Guard component too.
I believe so.
Yeah. So you've got.
I know they have a reserve component. Yes.
But you've got Army National Reserve. You've got Navy.
Yeah, but I don't think there's like a Marine Corps National Guard.
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
I know Air Force has one.
Yeah, the Air Guard. Yeah. And yeah, I think Navy also has. Yeah, I don't know if it's Guard or it's just considered a reserve component. But yeah.
Yeah. So you've got options, especially if you feel compelled to serve your country in that particular way. But that's what today is all about, is the people who either were told you're going to do it and were drafted into the armed forces, or the people who raised their hand and volunteered to go do it. And at any given time, you have people all over the world who are serving, and they put their lives at risk so that the rest of us don't have to. That's the beauty of it. And that's part of why we have Veterans Day, is to show them why we're grateful and how grateful we are for what they've done. Because without them, we wouldn't have a country.
And how does all this tie into leadership?
First and foremost, when you are a leader, you have to be willing to take a stand. You have to be willing to show up. You have to be willing to step up and take the lead and do things that aren't necessarily comfortable for you.
Right.
I'm not saying you necessarily have to put your life in danger like people in the military do. However, you do have to make decisions and take actions that you may or may not be very comfortable doing.
Right. Well, and one of the things that they taught us in the military is that everybody in the military is a leader. You don't have to be a general to be a leader.
Mhm.
Everybody all the way through the ranks is a leader, and they train you to be a leader right from the bottom levels. The idea being that you may find yourself in a situation where you're the highest ranking individual there. And if that's the case, guess what? Hello, you're the leader. And so we all had to be prepared to take the reins and become to operate as a leader. Some people took more readily to that than others. It was always interesting to see who really didn't have much of an interest in ever leading anything and who wanted and actively sought out the opportunities to lead. But that was, like I said, what we were always taught was that, at any time you might find yourself as you're the next man up, and you've got to take the reins because everybody else is going to be looking to you to let them know what they need to do. I think we also, you'll find that a lot of time when you're working in civilian life as well, as you never know when something's going to happen, and next thing you know, you are the most senior person there, and that makes you the leader, and you're the one who has to make decisions, and people are going to look to you. I'm always reminded of the scene in what was the movie, Saving Private Ryan, when they're on the beach and a round has just gone off and has put the captain, who's the actor, he's in everything,
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yes. Shouldn't be forgetting that one. But Tom Hanks' character, he's coming out of this daze, and there's a soldier standing in front of him, yelling at him, and he can't really hear him. And then when he comes out of it, he said, "What are your orders, sir?" And he says, to get off the beach. Said, "Where should we go?" Said, "Anywhere but here." And then once they get up to a spot where they have a little bit of cover, they ask, "Who's in charge here?" He said, "You are, sir," because at that point he was the highest ranking officer around for those soldiers, so he had to take charge. And again, life works that way. When you are a leader, is you never know when you're going to be called upon to step up to that next level, to basically take the place of the person who's above you, even if it's on a temporary basis, and lead others. And the best way to make sure that you're ready to lead is to, as the Army used to say, be prepared. Yeah, that was an Army slogan once upon a time, I believe. Remember. Wasn't it? Be prepared.
The jingle's going through my head right now. Yep.
I am right about that, aren't I?
You are right.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, that's probably one of the better ones that they had. Because
and much better than an army of one.
Yeah, an army of one. It's like, no, we're an army of many.
Yes.
No, we're supposed to be moving in the same direction as one, but we're an army of many.
Yes.
So the beauty of being in the military is you weren't there by yourself.
No.
And you had other people around to help you. At least you hope they help you. But that was, to me, that was always the beauty. One of the beautiful things about the military is the fact that they did have that heavy emphasis on leadership and being able to lead soldiers. And knowing, especially if you got into a combat situation, that you might be leading them and ordering them to do things and you knew they weren't going to be coming back. That's much tougher decisions than we have to make in the civilian world. Thank goodness. Yeah. As I always like to say, whenever we're doing things, even if we mess something up, nobody's going to die from it.
No.
Hopefully they don't. If they do, I'm not quite sure what it is we were doing.
Yeah, that's the difference between doing training for leadership and doing training for OSHA.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And OSHA could be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. For leadership, it's generally, hopefully you're not doing anything that's going to get anybody killed. No. But developing those skills, it's critical. And that's, I said, that's what our military teaches. That's why veterans are so highly sought after when it comes to the workplace, is because, one, they have that discipline that's been developed from being in the military. Most of them do. But then you also have those leadership skills, and that's because those leadership skills are taught from top to bottom.
Now, the one thing though that they have to realize when they get into civilian life is you aren't ordering soldiers around anymore.
No, and that is something that military people do have to get used to. Is you can't just order people to do stuff and then think they're going to do it. As a matter of fact, a lot of times if you start ordering them to do things, they will not do it.
Yeah, we were doing a training this past Friday, and that subject came up because we were actually doing it about intergenerational people in the workplace, and we were talking about how the baby boomers, a lot of them were used to, because when they first started in the workplace, the main leadership model was very autocratic. And that's what you have in the military, is you have this autocratic rule where, like you said,
you're told to do something, you go do it. You don't question it.
No. And so unless it's an illegal order,
which rarely
happens,
yes.
But in the real world, with where out there in corporate America, and even in volunteer organizations and nonprofits and stuff like that, it doesn't work that way.
No.
And so we talked about different ways of leading, and one of the things that we talked about is how when you do hire veterans, you need to get them on board with different leadership styles.
Yes.
Because autocratic styles don't work.
Yeah. No, these days, it seems like most companies are preaching the empathetic style of leadership. And that does seem to be the best way to go for most folks. Put yourself in the other person's shoes, see where they're coming from, and then try to work around whatever issues that you're having to deal with because of that.
I still like servant leadership because it focuses more on what can I do to help my team be more successful.
Right. Whereas servant leadership ties in with empathetic leadership. It's basically the idea that instead of they are there to do what you tell them to do, you are there to serve them so they can be as successful as possible.
And the whole idea though is to collaborate together, to work together,
right?
To come up with a plan, and then everybody moves forward.
That is correct.
What if somebody out there is listening and they're just like, oh, gosh darn it, I am a veteran and I am out there in the workforce and I'm having trouble getting people to do what I want them to do because, they're not taking my orders seriously. Or what if you're an organization who has hired a veteran and you're having turnover issues, and you've got people who are leaving because your veteran isn't quite up to speed with how to lead in the civilian world. What could they do?
They could give us a call.
They could give us a call. And what would that number be?
412-420-7975. You can call us. If you don't want to talk on the phone, you can text us. You can also send us an email, info@ateagueofyourown.com. Make sure you spelled Teague correctly, T-E-A-G-U-E. It's like baseball league with a T instead of an L.
Here.
You can also go to our website, ateagueofyourown.com, conveniently named, very similar to our email. Again, spell Teague right, T-E-A-G-U-E. You can also find us in our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, LinkedIn, and we have a YouTube channel where we post all of these videos. Feel free to peruse them at your leisure. The only thing that we ask is if you go to our websites or our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe.
Yes.
We'd appreciate it.
Yes, we would. All right. So there you have it. So thank you once again to all the veterans who have served our country. We appreciate what you have done. Without you, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we currently have.
We'd all be speaking German.
Or Japanese.
Something like that.
Yeah. Maybe Russian by this point.
It's true.
However, we're not. And that's the beauty of it all, is we're still the greatest country in the world. We still have freedoms. And
as we just proved last week, free and fair election.
Yes.
And it happened, and we're going to have a peaceful transfer of power, I believe, in a couple months, and that's the way it should be.
Yep. Yeah. So it's all good.
It is good.
All right, everyone. Enjoy Veterans Day. Go out there, thank some veterans. If you're a veteran, take advantage of all the specials that are out there for you, because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
So go out there, go to Sheetz, go to Applebee's, go to Dunkin' Donuts. I want to say they've got stuff going on. Go to all the cool places and take advantage of all the deals because you earned it. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week.